to the Claudia Macias show and podcast. I am so happy to be here, super excited because I just love to share people, events, uplift resources, connections, because that's what this podcast and this show is all about. So welcome. One thing that I love to do that I call it the C's of me, like the letter C. I love to connect. I love to collaborate. I love to create. Yes, I'm a creative. I love to communicate and cultivate in community, in comunidad. So welcome. This is year 10, año 10 of my show. Now we've done some changes, because we're refocusing, we're recentering, we are rebranding, we're redoing, and that's okay because, things change, things transition, and that's okay. And I'm going through some transition too, and I'll share about that later. But yeah, so welcome to Admirable Radio. That is our new home and my show, the Claudia Macias Show and Podcast. And we are on all kinds of platforms. So you can connect, watch, listen, and join on LinkedIn, on online radio at admirableradio.com. And you can go and see us on Instagram, on our YouTube channel. You can also see us on Twitter, which is X, X, formerly Twitter. You can see us on Facebook. You can see us on Twitch. You can see us on LinkedIn. We are everywhere because we just want to make sure that we're reaching an audience and sharing the amazing content, the shows that we have here at Admirable Radio. And also, my Gen Xers out there, Generación X. Do you remember the music that we listened to if you were like into the top 40, especially rock en español? So we've even got the genre has changed as well. So if you would like to listen to some great music, go ahead and click on admirableradio.com so that you can listen in and you can jam out to some tunes in Inglés y en Español as you're doing your work, as you're figuring out your next steps, as you're refocusing, recentering, and rebranding, whatever it is that you're doing in your life right now. Tune into the music. That way you can just like, oh, let me enjoy this rock en español, this English, music from the 90s, and just let myself flow throughout the day. All right, so I want to give a thanks too, because without our sponsors, we wouldn't be here. So I want to give a huge thanks to my main sponsors. Sorry about that. Our sponsors that are always here and always there for us. Everyone from Cookie Face Cosmetics, get your face done with her products. Ilsa's Glam Boutique, go to her pop-ups, get your earrings and your medallitas and your bolsitas from her. Chris Piñon Media, he does a great job with capturing your photos, family events. You need him to do some professional work, contact him. And then also Menaway, products that have been made for women who are going through perimenopause and menopause. And there's also products for the men too. So it's all about taking care of yourself. And so that segues into the topic of today, of this time that we have here together. I'm wearing green. And the reason why is because I want to honor the green ribbon that represents Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in the month of May. We're now towards the end of May, but I wanted to take some time to open up the platform, bring on some guests that could speak on mental health and wellness. But before I get to my wonderful guest, I just want to just take some time to give a little background and on mental health awareness. So mental health awareness was created in 1949, which is the year my mommy was born, by Mental Health America. And it was established to educate the public about mental illness, reduce those severe social stigmas, also promote early intervention, and celebrate the recovery of individuals living with psychiatric conditions. This is from Brown University. And, why was it created? It was created, in the early 20th century. It was created at that time because during the early 20th century, mental health treatment was largely confined to asylums and severe misconceptions caused by, which caused people to suffer in silence and without seeking help. And, we still have a little bit of that, which is why I'm doing this show today as well, having this show topic and its origins of advocacy. So the movement was spurred by Clifford Beers, who, after surviving a severe mental health crisis and experiencing the horrific conditions of psychiatric institutions, he wrote a memoir about his recovery and founded the advocacy group in 1908. Now going into post-war needs. Following a heavy psychological toll of World War I and World War II on veterans, advocates recognize an urgent need to shift the narrative around mental illness to one of medical understanding, empathy, and community support. So, which leads into today's topic. It's all about, using my platform to educate, to share, to, reduce the stigma and to let people know that it's okay that sometimes you're not okay. And it's okay to reach out for support, to say, I need una ayudita. I'm beyond just the comadre talk. Because comadre talk does help too. Having people around you, having your bros, having, connections with other humans, even if you're at a coffee shop and you're not talking to someone directly, but at least they're in the vicinity and you're surrounded by people while you're either doing some work or you're just having a quiet cup of coffee, but you're in community. So sometimes you need more than that connection with a comadre or with an amiga. Sometimes you need to get professional help. And sometimes we don't always have the means to get it. So one of the things that I want to make sure is that how do we continue bringing in folks to talk about, mental health and wellness? What are some things that are out there that people can connect with? Who are some people that are in the space that could offer some insight? So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on this amazing panel of guests. As I introduce them, I want my super comadre Liliana, the amazing producer, to connect and share a little bit of footage while I introduce the amazing panel. And we do have Alba, who's going to sending me some messages, and we want to make sure that this guest gets a chance to connect. She says she's logged in. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I'm going to say try it again. Try again. I see. Okay. So we're going to figure this out. All right. So right here, one of my guests is the amazing Dr. Consuelo Walsh Bass. And I just want to share that she is this amazing woman who is an author. And this author is, Consuelo, Dr. Cello, we'll call her Cello, wrote Why My Sister, a scientist's search for meaning amid her family's struggle with schizophrenia. So we're going to have her on. So, and we're also going to have, and let me get a little bit of her background because I want to share. She has a very, very thorough background and want to make sure you hear a little bit about who she is and what she has done. Vamos a ver. Comadre, can you bring up that cover again for those that are listening? We pulled up the cover of her book. Can you enlarge it just a little bit? Because we want to make sure that the listening audience and the viewing audience can also see right here. And there we go. So Consuelo Walsh Bass is a psychiatric geneticist and neuroscientist at the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, where she holds the John S. Dunn Foundation Distinguished Chair in Psychiatry. Scroll it up a little bit right here. Born and raised in Torreon, Mexico, she founded the UT Health Houston Brain Collection. Oh, I love it. I love this. And has spent more than 2 decades investigating the biological roots of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Her sister Patty, stabilized on clozapine, I think I said that right, or clozapine. We'll get to the pronunciation. Lives with her. I want to welcome Dr. Consuelo Walsh Bass. A ver, where is she? So she can say a little hello. ¿Dónde está? Doctora Chelo, there she is. Welcome.
Wonder, Claudia. Thank you for having me and for, talking about this super important topic near and dear to my heart.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. And I want to also bring on another guest. Let's bring on Angel Quesada. This is an amazing man who is an artist, but he is also a master instructor with Tai Chi. And his company is Breathe Tai Chi, and he is a movement specialist with nearly 30 years of experience. He trained at the renowned Boston Kung Fu Tai Chi Institute. Angel has dedicated his career not only in art, because he's an artist, he's a muralist, he's a create. I mean, he's just an amazing artist, but he's also dedicated his career to helping people reduce pain, improve their strength and flexibility, and build overall wellness through mindful movement and Tai Chi practice. Welcome, Angel Quesada.
Namaste.
I love it. I love it. And I'm not sure we had a chance to connect with Alba. Is she here? Oh, there she is. Now I want to take some time to introduce this other amazing human joining today, Alba Munoz. She is a registered nurse with a bachelor in science in nursing. And over the years, she has built a rewarding career in aesthetic nursing, blending her medical expertise with her passion for helping others. Now, in 2020, I remember 2020 when we were all covered up with masks. Do y'all remember that time? Or do we want to even remember that time? Because yeah, let's not go there. But in 2020, what she did amidst all of those challenges going on with COVID-19, the pandemic, she embraced her entrepreneurial spirit and founded Nova Studio, an aesthetic practice. She initially focused on body sculpting, but she has steadily expanded her services to meet the diverse and evolving needs of the community. Networking and community involvement have been an integral part of her growth and her success in her business. And she has even gone to organize community events that support local businesses by offering free microblading services to cancer survivors and empowering girls who are in foster care, empowering them with like fashion shows and like beauty workshops. So just to give them that empowering, feel. And her, mission is making sure that people feel, comfortable in their skin, that they're loving themselves on the inside, because that's super important, the inside as well. And then, bringing beauty forth from the inside to the out. So thank you for being here on this beautiful, day, night, whatever time it is that everyone's joining in. Thank you for taking the time, Chelo, Angel, and Alba, to be here on the Claudia Macias show and podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, 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 yes. So I have some questions, because what I want to start off with first is, what did each of y'all do today to take care of you?
I'll start.
Go
I
for it.
I got to make my breakfast. I made sure I had veggies in it, and then I also went to the gym and pushed myself because I heard on the radio that you need to like be breathing heavily. Like at some point, just in your workout, you need to be like out of breath so that your heart builds that resistance. So I did that for myself today.
Nice. I love it. Self-care. Thank you. A ver, who's next?
Unfortunately, I have not yet, but
Not yet.
definitely is I do yoga or Pilates every day. I really try to
Mhm.
squeeze it in. I haven't done it yet, but I will do it before I go to bed.
I love how you said that. Yet.
Yes.
That's super important to share that, because it's yet to be done. Se va a hacer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Uh-huh.
is not over.
Yeah. Ahora, Alba.
I want to say I do a lot of self meditation.
Mm.
Meditate. I believe in God, so having my own time, trying to focus and refocus because we
Yeah.
have a lot of things going on all the time, and dealing with a lot of different clients with different things going on with them. You deal with a lot. They're dealing with a lot, so you enter you enter their world, and sometimes you feel them, you feel that you carry that with you, you carry their pain, you carry their depression, things that may be going on with them. So I have to let that go at the end of the day, every day.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. I love how you guys are practicing, either about to practice, and that's what you're doing, because in this space of us, and I'll say us because my background actually is also in the mental health space. I currently have a role of creating spaces for parents to come together through a program called Brain Builders, where they come together to talk about parenting, sharing those experiences of parenting an infant and a toddler and how crazy that can be. And then talking about taking care of yourself. What are you doing to take care of you while you're running around and trying to stay up all night with an infant or trying to run after a toddler, right?
Exactly.
So it's always important to always stop. And what am I doing? Well, I have a treadmill, and I know Angel is always like, did you move? And I'm going to drag my treadmill from under my sofa so that I can get on it again. And what I do is I'll take a picture and I'll send it to Angel and say, look, I did this. So, because he's my accountability partner, and he's an amazing, partner as well. And he helps. And I think that's super important, is who's keeping you like accountable. Do you have a friend? Do you have comadre? Do you have a partner? Is it your watch that tells you get up now? How do y'all handle making sure that you keep up with your gym, your veggies, your Pilates, your yoga, your self meditation?
I have a lot of support, thankfully, from my mother still.
Hmm.
So my mother, I feel, she keeps me sane whenever I need advice, or, I don't know what to do, or I just need to, decompress and vent. I definitely always go to her. So
Beautiful.
she's my rock in everything.
And
So
how
I have
about?
my husband, my partner, Dan. He
Mhm.
uh, is my best friend, and actually super really into health and self care, and so he has imparted a lot of that on me because I didn't used to really give much importance to that.
Mhm.
He really has been really amazing supporting me that way.
That's lovely. That's good. That's good. That's your team. It's like you're part of your team. How about yourself, Angel? How do
Well,
you?
my body tells me what's going on. My body
Ah,
says, not today. And I'm like, but I have to do this and this and this and this. And then
yeah.
I'm like, okay, how do I get out of this mode? So
Mm,
I feel like we're just these spaceships, right? We have these spaceships. So if my spaceship needs some fixing, I need to take it to the mechanic or whatever. I'm the mechanic. The body heals itself. So
Absolutely.
the only way that you can access that healing is through really rest, but also through movement. And diet's a big part of that because that's the inside. And also just your intentionality, right? Some people just push, 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 and then their body kind of
mm,
starts making noises, right?
mhm.
Squeaking, crackling, popping, and you're like, oh yeah, I have a body. And so it's sort of like a marriage of mind and body, where sometimes my mind is a little bit off, and my body's like, let's go, let's go. Sometimes my body's off and my mind is racing. So it's challenging, I imagine, for everyone to be alive. But
Yeah.
the being conscious of like how I'm feeling and how I'm standing and how I'm like supported in this body, my spirit in the body, that helps me to ground myself and also to be able to like talk to others or just to like
Mm,
be present in the moment.
yes.
And so when you take that like those few breaths where you're like, even
Yeah.
now I breathe,
Hmm.
you breathe.
Yeah.
So everybody's an extension of you. So if you take care of yourself, the people around you start to get better.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. And I want the audience to also see that you're leaders. You are guiding folks. You are imparting your knowledge, your skills, your talent, but you are also human. And and it's super important that as you're doing this work that you share, like, I too need to need to stop and make sure I push myself. I'm self-aware. I take that breath, that I stop and meditate. Because a lot of times when we are out there in the space of leading and guiding and supporting and developing programs, and they may look at us as, oh, you have it all. Oh, you got it down. No, we're all human and we all have experiences. So thank you for sharing that, because I want the listening audience to also know that you are the givers of ¿cómo se dice? Recetas, or, dones, gifts that you have, but you also give yourself that gift too, so that you can continue doing that work. So thank you for sharing. And now that we know you a little bit, I want to take us into our first question on the importance of mental health awareness, which is the month of May. And, May is mental health awareness. And I want you to think about this question. Why do you think conversations about mental health are still so important today, even though we've had, awareness of mental health grow over the years? So whoever would like to take that question first, Mental Health Awareness Month, and also wellness, because we're talking about wellness as well.
I want to say we have, well, in my field and in my whole career actually, the lifespan that I've always dealt with is between 18 you know up to 80 years old.
Mhm.
And everybody that I've had, in some points of their lives, discuss about what kind of mental illness they may have.
Mhm.
And mental illness can be in so many different forms. It can be, if depression, anxiety. It could be, food disorders. It could be all
Mhm.
kinds of different type of mental illnesses,
Mhm.
that people are experiencing. So, you know learning some of these different mental illnesses that people may be experience, it gives you an understanding how to understand others. I don't
Mm.
know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I elaborate? Because I'll let Dr. Cello round it out at the end because she's the
Yes.
expert. She got all those degrees. I think that'd be awesome.
Mhm.
So I wanted to say that May Day is the first day of May, right? It's like emergency, emergency. So when we're in this time, like destigmatizing what mental health means,
Yeah.
it's really been a long journey to even get here, to even have a month where we think about our mental health, our mental state. So it's like a consciousness shifting where everybody is more aware of others. And like, why do they act like that? What's the spectrum? Am I on the spectrum? Everyone's got a touch of the tism, as they say. But we deal with these dilemmas of like, oh, okay, I can't share because then people will
Mm.
assume I'm weak, or
Mhm.
I was talking to this young man the other day, and he had a friend group, a bunch of boys, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome for you that you have like this community to share with. He's like, well, I don't really get to talk with them like that because then they're gonna think I'm like weak or gay. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Mm.
What are you
Mhm.
talking about?
Yes.
Well, who do you have to speak with about, your issues? This kid was like 24 and he had his two DWIs and
Mm.
he couldn't drive. And so I was giving him a ride. And, poor guy. I mean, just he told me he likes being drunk and stoned because it
Mm.
helps him to feel normal. And I thought,
Yes.
Wow.
that's super sad.
Mhm.
And it's like I feel like there's this energy welling up in people, and if they can't get it out, it stays stuck in you,
Yeah.
and then it just builds
Absolutely.
up and builds up, and then you get the cancer, the cancer,
Mm.
cancer,
Mm.
cancer.
Mhm. Mhm.
So then you're like, too bad. By then it's like you can't take away the thing, and the barnacles build up.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta keep it flowing like a
Yeah.
manguera. When you bend it, it starts to like rip there. So
Mm.
keep it flowing and be elastic and flexible.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And what about you, Chendal?
Oh, so the issue of stigma and being able to have a mental health awareness month is
Mm.
amazing, very personal to me. I'm from Mexico. I grew up in Mexico. I didn't come here until I was 23 years old. And my mother has schizophrenia.
Hmm.
So I grew up in Mexico where nobody talked about it. We couldn't. It
Yeah.
was you don't talk about it, you hide it,
Mm.
basically. And that's how I was raised, and how all my siblings, we all lived in the shame,
Yeah.
having a mother with schizophrenia.
Hmm.
Everybody knew, and we just couldn't talk about it. So it's, for me, a very personal thing to help in a way. And the reason I study these disorders is, of course, I want to help find cures, definitely better treatments. But actually, the most important thing for me is to help families understand where this comes from and why it happens, and be able to talk about it. Just, everybody has a loved one with something, and we all can find a common ground in understanding these illnesses and finding more empathy for people who suffer from them, and for the families as well.
Hmm.
So,
Thank you. That's it's very near and dear to your heart. I mean, talk a little bit about the book. Yeah.
so my sister also has schizophrenia, and she
Okay.
lives with me. I take care of her now. Of course, when I say I, it's not actually me. No, it's my husband. I can't
Hmm.
do this without him. It's the two of us, and we support each other. But out of the five siblings, we're five. She was the one that got it, and I wanted to know why her and why not the rest of us. The rest of us are very highly functional. We can say, you say, I have all these degrees. I mean, my other siblings do as well, and just one sister did not.
Hmm.
And it's been something that has haunted me for my entire life.
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote the book, and to just start conversations. And
Hmm.
I really can't emphasize how important that is, to be able to just talk about it, and without sugarcoating it, without
Hmm.
hiding anything. These are not easy illnesses to understand,
Hmm.
especially schizophrenia. But
Dr. Cello,
uh,
how much like would you say that the chemistry is involved in the brain's functionality, right? In our reality here.
in 100%, everything.
So
Yes.
Chemistry,
kind of like blood.
biochemistry regulates everything we do, and our brain is an organ like any other organ, and it regulates our behavior.
Hmm.
So absolutely, it's all about the biology of our brain, and the genes that we were born with, and the environment that we're all exposed to.
Hmm.
When you
All
say
those things.
environment, what are you talking about?
That's a good question. Environment really is everything. Nowadays, we
Hmm.
call it the exposome.
Hmm.
Everything that we are exposed to in our entire life since we are born, actually, since during the pregnancy,
Hmm.
all of it matters. But
Wow.
not just that, it's actually the timing, because we all have stress in one way or another. All of us were exposed to different things.
Hmm.
What it matters is the timing of those exposures, and also the genes. So those two things together.
Wow.
And nutrition as well.
Well,
Nutrition
and
also.
by environment, I mean everything. Then that
Everything.
includes nutrition,
Inside environment, outside
sleep,
environment.
how well you
Exactly.
sleep, your exercise, all of
Yes.
it. It
All
all
of it.
Yeah.
matters. Yes.
Yeah. So in my field, I work with families and I focus on 0 to 3. If you could give me some information or some tips, some connections, unas conexiones, around, what do you think I could share with families of young ones when parents are, stressing out or feeling toxic stress or feeling like, maybe depression setting in or anxiety? What resources or words could I share with them to feel comfortable saying, I need some help?
Do you mean for themselves or for
Hmm.
their
For
children?
themselves,
For
for
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I think if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family. So,
Mm.
and we have to understand that. And a lot of times we put ourselves last, uh, you know, before our children come first, or our parents or our siblings, all that. But then you realize you can't do it if you don't take care of yourself. So
Mhm.
what I would say also is the community, having friends, having, a network of people that you can talk to, like you guys were saying,
Mhm.
actually someone to talk to. That is just the most important thing for me. uh,
Mhm.
and then of course, if you have to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, it's like any other doctor. I don't
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
why you go see someone when you have a fever or when you're like a sore throat? Why don't you go see someone when you're not feeling like you're there 100%?
I like how you put that. We take Tylenol for a headache. We go to the doctor when we have a fever. So why not? I like how you're putting it in a way to help people understand that it's okay. I just had a conversation with a woman who is getting her life coaching certification, and she needs to practice or do some practicum or practice with she's her focus is Latina girls, teenagers between like 13 and 18, and she is just having a hard time getting parents to be okay with the kids, their daughters getting some life coaching. They're like, no, no, eso no es para nosotros, es para gente que tiene pues problemas, tú sabes.
Yeah,
And so what words could I give her, to my friend, to help her parents that she's trying to work with? Give them this gift. What could help her with that journey?
I think, like, well, I think others, Alba and Angel could
Yeah, both all of y'all
I want.
too.
uh,
Mhm. I
you
wanted
send
to say.
like
Oh,
any
go
other
ahead.
doctor, and faith. But to me, you know what? I don't know about what you think. I mean, I am Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and I
Mhm.
definitely share with you the importance of meditating or having some kind of a
Mhm.
um, spiritual way to for your own health. But sometimes religion gets in the way, and people say, well, like you say, no, that's not, I'm just going to pray, or I'm not going to do anything because
Mm.
religious views they have. But what I always say is God gives us medicine. God gives us all these gifts that we have, all these
Mhm.
doctors. I think they come from God. So why not
Mhm.
take advantage of that
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
and use
do.
them?
I also believe education is educating the parents,
Mm.
educating what life coaching entails.
Okay.
What does it entail? Maybe a little bit of material for them to read, some
Mhm.
little videos. Very as nurses, we are taught to educate. So educate, educate, educate.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't know what they don't know, you know?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
teaching them what is life coaching, what tools do we provide with life
Yeah.
coaching, what does it do, outcomes, have them come into a whole full class where they can
Mhm.
learn what
Mhm.
life coaching is. Bring,
Okay.
make it a fun mother daughter time. Hey, we're going to incorporate some fun events, but then we're also going to talk about this.
Okay.
Make it like a fun time, and then incorporate the life coaching in there, so it's they're relaxed, they're having fun, but then
Uh-huh.
they it opens their mind up to learning.
Okay, I love that. Thank you. I'm taking down my notes like literally, because we just had this conversation like 2 nights ago. So Angel, what about you? Because you had experience working with young, young artists, like in the teens. What do
I
you
feel
think
like
is the
there's a lot of baggage that comes along with cultural norms, right?
Mhm.
So, like, Dr. Cello mentioned religion, and I feel like that's also a thing. I feel like religion is important in that it teaches people traditions, and it also gives people community if they don't have
Mhm. Mhm.
because you can't be a jerk at church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's watching. So, but definitely having some safe spaces where people
Yes.
can kind of shift their paradigms,
Mhm.
right? So,
Mhm.
so what is it to be alive? Is it just paying rent? Is it like watching your kid do better than you and then you die? So when we're talking about life, we're talking about quality of life, right? We work so that we can have a life, but then most of these people who are alive, they're just working to pay rent, and
Mm,
it's super stressful, and they don't have time for something extra like themselves
yeah.
because they're dedicating their bodies to something greater, right? As how they feel. And so for them, they're like the heroes of this of the movie. So when you can somehow, like Alba said, bring in the educational component to help
Mm,
them see what they what they can't see, because
mhm,
like I said, it's a paradigm shift. We're observing our life, but we're not observing ourselves observing life, right? So how can
mhm,
you see the watcher and talk about the watcher? So that watcher who's like looking down on the life and it's like, pues no, es todo, tenemos que trabajar y tengo mi
mhm,
niño y pues tiene que ir a la
mhm.
escuela and then they're watching out for ice and
True.
they don't go to the gym. For them, working is the workout. Like if you get
Mm,
like a lady at El Tiempo, she's making the tortillas. She's moving like this much in 5 hours. She's just going back and forth over the hot grill, and then she gets home. And what does she do? She probably is taking care of someone who is debilitated because the daughter
Or
ran
the
into
grandkids.
somebody or the
the
grandkids.
grandkids, yeah,
It's
yeah,
such a common story, and
yeah.
I know you all have seen it. Um, but it's like allowing them to say, okay, well, you're more than just Dali cual, chencha from, you know, the barrio or whatever. You're a person that has dignity, being alive, and honor that. Like you're not who you think you are, and breaking that chain of reality.
Mm,
It's like a domino effect. But until you can get them to that safe place where they can like examine what they're doing, I don't think much is going to change. I'm sorry to be.
Right now,
yeah.
what we also are incorporating, so we have different modalities, right, for wellness.
Mhm,
So we have massages, we have facials. A simple facial may sound simple,
Oh
but
my God.
mhm.
somebody like,
Transformative.
like like a person that's working that
Yeah,
long and,
yeah,
that me time to have that mini little facial
yeah,
makes a world of a difference.
absolutely.
Mhm.
We
You
have
know,
red light therapy. Red light therapy is so awesome for your joints, your muscles, your brain, resting. It helps with anxiety, can help with depression. So
Yeah.
all these different
gosh,
modalities can help. And we're also incorporating something called IASIS. So IASIS is like neurofeedback to the brain. It's a little, it's more advanced than somebody, you just, you got to explain it a little better to somebody that doesn't understand. But
Yeah.
that is a phenomenal treatment that I've seen on teenagers, adults, mental health clients, just different. It's called IASIS neurofeedback to the brain. Really, really awesome. And again, all these different massages are phenomenal. I have to get a massage. If I don't get a
Mhm.
massage, at least twice a month, I am not functioning.
You're not functioning. Yeah.
wow, that's great. That's all so cool.
So we're all going to be lining up.
Yeah.
I
Just
remember
y'all, everybody here. We're going to be lining up with you.
I just got a facial for the first time, and honestly, one of my friends was kept telling me, and I was like, oh, I don't do that. And oh
Yeah.
my goodness, what have I been missing? It was amazing.
And you're like, I'm signing up for
Yeah,
the next one.
so I felt so good after that. Not just because my face looked good, but I just felt so
Uh,
like it.
I had one lady that came and I will never forget her. I think it
mhm.
was Miss Maria Lita
Oh,
that
okay. Maria
brought
Lida. Uh-huh.
yes, we had a spa day for the ladies, and
Yes.
we got people to donate. And literally, the lady almost started crying. She
Oh,
said, I've never had a facial in my life. She was like 60 something.
wow.
And oh, it makes me a tear I still to this day. I will always forever remember her because that little facial like meant the
Hmm.
world to her, because
Hmm.
she's never had one,
Yeah.
So those,
I was gonna say, Alba, exactly. Like the body stores all these emotions and all these things get stuck
Hmm.
in the body. We hold it. Like I've touched somebody who was in a car wreck, and I
Mm.
held their shoulders like this, and they just started bawling.
Oh,
It's
yes,
like it created a release, and that
yes,
release, it's cathartic. So yeah,
yeah.
you're not talky intellectualizing it. you're directly accessing the visceral part of their being. You
It's
know,
changing your environment. You know
Mm.
what?
Mm.
exactly.
I'm gonna pull out this word, epigenetics.
Ah,
It changes
dale.
your epigenetics. I'll just say that.
Sure.
Mm.
Read the book so you can find.
Yeah.
The body has an intelligence that's separate from the brain.
Yeah,
There's
Uh-huh.
there's stuff that we can't control. It just goes on and on and on, like
exactly.
breathing,
Yeah.
blinking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. How do we in our community, you talked about education, you talked about that safe space. How do we help them see that taking that time, maybe they can't make it for financial purposes, right? To get a massage every 2 weeks or what have you, but how can we get folks to understand and to see that a little bit of me time could be just stopping and breathing, just pausing, going to the bathroom by yourself, lock the door, sit in there for a little bit, go to your car and turn on the radio for a little bit if you have a car, right? Or just step outside and get some Ida if you can, like because I that's one thing that I work really hard at with my families because none of my families can afford what
Yeah.
I can do, right? So I try to give them those other modalities but how do we let them know that it's okay, that it's not being selfish, that it's that to put yourself first? What words do you have for that? Because sometimes I have to remind myself.
So I think it's also like feeling like you're not doing anything.
Mm,
It's time to feel like we have to be doing, and actually sitting down and doing nothing, just meditating. To
mm-hmm,
me, I say that, you know what, that goes a long way. And also, maybe if you can afford a cup of coffee, that's just in the morning, just by myself, drinking my coffee. That is just amazing.
I'm writing
I
this
love
down.
that.
Yeah,
So
and
that
I
is
think
something I did this morning, actually. Yes.
there you go. You took care of you, and I think, like you said earlier, right now about being still.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think it's just giving yourself permission because even, I have friends and family around me, and I'm not going to name any names, that tell me, just be still. You're done. Close the laptop. It's
Yes.
okay. But then I share, but you don't know that when I was growing up, when before my dad would come home from work, we could hear the car in the driveway. My mom would be like, Andales, get your book, get something.
Do something.
My mom would get off the phone, like, I got to call you later because, my husband's home. Get something, look busy,
Look
open up a
busy.
book, turn off the TV, we're like, and I sometimes catch myself doing that to my girls. I'm like, all right, yeah, turn off the phone, turn off the TVs and all that. And sometimes I'm like, just let them, because I know what it's like to feel that energy that needs a release of doing
I,
something.
I I would agree, but I think it's a fine line. Now we grew up without technology that
True.
kids have
Yeah.
now, so I feel that paying attention to nothing is a super important. But like, there's so many distractions. So you could go to the bathroom and you'd be doom scrolling, and then you're just like more tense when you come out. So how do you allow get
Mm,
people to access that quietude, that space where it's like, okay, am I breathing fully? Am I taking a full breath? Where are my feet? Just okay. What's the temperature? Is there a breeze? Oh, and noticing like the seconds passing by on the clock, and just stop for like 10 seconds. Something as simple as that
yeah.
can shift your mood, can shift your well-being, really.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also tell my clients, I tell them all the time, nobody has the power to heal yourself, heal your health but yourself.
Mm,
You have the power to do that.
And then they're
So
like,
you
pero
have
cómo lo hago?
yeah, and then and like you said, I tell people as well, journaling is really,
mm,
really awesome.
mm,
Journaling, you don't have to talk to anybody. You're basically writing it down and then leave it alone. Journaling is awesome. Community events, like,
mm,
everybody, a lot of community events are coming out. People that, have spouses that have died,
yeah.
just different things going on in their lives. You have wonderful community events, wonderful support groups that are free. You know, we have a lot of free community events, those support groups. I believe the YMCA has a lot of different free support groups for different mental issues. There's, you know, sexual abuse, alcohol, all kinds of things, you know, that deal with mental things. So just reaching out to your community basically, and the
Yeah.
resources that are free that you can possibly get.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you have any that you ever come across, Cello, Angel, Alba, please send them our way because we can also always share them through the radio station and send them out to our listeners because, there's a lot of stuff happening out there in the world.
Yes.
Our job market is being affected, our bank accounts being affected, the cost of food is being affected, the cost of gas, as well as then I need to find a time for myself to just be still, breathe. So the more you can provide any, resources my way, the more we can then turn them around to the listening audience. So Angel, I want you to share a little bit about what do you have going on because you have been doing something with UT Health Presents at Discovery Green.
6:30. Discovery Green. I'm teaching a free Tai Chi class for the public, and
That's awesome.
that's something that I love because I can see when people grasp something and they're going inwards and and I'm coaching them to talk about their their being and their body and allowing them to just be present in their bodies. And that for me, like, it's just so amazing to see the shift at the end of the day when they're or at the end of class when they've grown another inch. That's how
So
eating
on Thursdays?
back in the day. Um, yes, on Thursdays until July 11th. This is me competing back in 2002 when I was in Pasadena, California for World Tai Chi Day. So all these hundreds and hundreds of martial artists all the way around. And I was asked to present my Chen form. But,
It's amazing. Very
Mhm.
awesome.
It is
Mhm.
awesome. Congratulations. This is with UT Health.
with UT Health, they're sponsoring all the fitness classes at Discovery Green, and there's also yoga that they have, like a hip hop yoga, and then on Saturdays they have a sound bath meditation yoga. And my day is Thursday, in which I talk about just the principles of like how to hold your bones up, how to walk,
Mhm.
and then the breath kind of just follows along with it. So we're just I'm just trying to impart that wisdom that people can take with them everywhere. So I tell them when you're waiting in line at the grocery store, or when you're at a stoplight, you can scan your body. You can see how gravity is traveling through, or how you're getting in your own way with parasitic movements.
Mhm.
Um, when you're learning something new, you're tightening your fists, you're clenching
Mhm.
your face. All these little things that drain your energy. So I talk about them because I also have a background in the Feldenkrais method, and that has really helped me to build my vocabulary around the functional modalities. And I just use qigong as a way to as an access point for people.
Mhm. And also, you mentioned the other day that I think you're going corporate now. So is
Yeah,
there?
yeah. My lovely partner has helped me with a corporate um, package, so I'm going to start to send that out to my contacts and also the conferences. Because all these business people from around the world, they're all stressed out, and
Mhm.
I think that would be really resonant. And so I'm hoping that will really help to sustain me in these dark times.
Yeah, and for us to sustain ourselves, that we need like, we need movement, we need, wellness, places that we could go and achieve that through Tai Chi or through yoga or going with you, Alba, listening to the resource that you have, Cello. And Alba, talk a little bit about something that I saw on Facebook when I was doing my research on you. There's something coming up in June.
Yes, June
And
6th, we have a wellness event. We
mhm.
are actually combining boot camp, Zumba, Pilates, yoga, all in one setting. And we actually
Happening in
have
Tai Chi.
two artists coming in. So we have that. We have different communities and some vendors coming all in together to talk about wellness. The artists, music is such a big part of,
Mhm.
people's lives. And I listen to music as well when I'm sad, when I'm angry, and when I'm happy, So music is so amazing. So I wanted to talk about it that day at my wellness event, how music can help heal you. I mean, they have, the sounds, that can help you relax now. They have so many different things. So music is something I wanted to really incorporate. So two of my clients are actually going to be present to sing that day. So I'm really
Oh,
excited.
nice.
And one of them's doing a video release, so it's really awesome.
Okay.
And so, just a lot of different things. So really, really excited for that. And then
Beautiful.
we also have the
Mhm.
men's mental health fashion show in Houston. I have to get the date for you, so I'll let you talk to that producer for the fashion show,
I love it.
because men's suicide rate has always been top five.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they want to bring awareness to men's mental health, because men, like you said, they don't want to talk about it. They're macho
Mhm.
men. But men suffer through mental health.
Yeah.
So bringing that awareness to the community, we have different people on the panel talking about different things that men have to go through.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're doing in the community as well.
And having you three here, this is also networking because I can see how all three of y'all can intersect, invite each other, use each other as a contact, as a resource, because we need to make sure that we're connecting with other folks as well, so we could be okay, as well as while
Yes.
we're trying to put out in the community events, Tai Chi, Consuelo's next book, you know, her strategies, like what now share, like I want you to think about this, as we begin to close, is for someone that may be still silently suffering, maybe someone in their family or maybe themselves, with mental illness or need, what words of encouragement or advice would you want them to hear today from you? And I'll start with you, Cello.
There is hope. That's people do recover. They get better. They can have happy lives. It takes patience and love and a lot of community support, but there is hope. And I just have to say, don't give up hope. That's it.
Thank you. Don't give up hope. And I'm going to go around to Alba and then Angel.
So yeah, just if you're silent, don't be. There's people willing to listen to you, and everybody's loved. You're loved.
Mhm.
You are a person. You are valuable, and somebody out there will listen to you. So there's many resources, and you just have to reach out to somebody, and somebody will help you.
Thank you, Alba. And Angel.
So I'm going to try to offer something different because I also deal with a lot of, those dark feelings of like,
Hmm.
all the voices, right?
Hmm.
So when we're feeling like down, when we're feeling dark, when we're feeling all those things, I mean, there's so many people who have been alive, and that there's so many ways to access that health. And first begins a relationship with yourself and finding the love and the compassion for yourself to begin to think, oh yeah, I deserve better. I deserve better, and I'm going to give it to myself. I'm my best friend, and I'm going to find somebody who's going to listen. I'm going to find food that's going to be nourishing and medicinal. I'm going to find ways of moving my body or listening to music that is like it's like the perfect science is within
Hmm.
all of us. Like we have God in us, and that we can have all those access points through, like you said earlier, Dr. Cello, the what was the word?
Exposome.
Expo zone. So inside, outside, the
Everything.
everything starts with your relationship with
Yeah.
yourself. And if you can find a way to be compassionate towards yourself, then there's hope and there's love because you're giving it to yourself. You see yourself as something separate from your spirit, right? Because our meat, our bones, those things, they're not necessarily us. They're an expression of us, but our spirit lives not just in here. It lives within everyone else as well.
Mm.
And so we're in communion. That's our nature as humans.
Mm.
I'm sorry to sound preachy, but it's like
No.
I talk to my friends, I call them, and I'm like, why haven't I heard from you? I'm
Mm.
calling you. Are you okay? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't talk to anybody. I'm like, well, call me because I need to hear your voice. I need somebody to talk to. I'm selfish. I'm calling you because I want to talk to somebody. Let's go have a drink, or let's go walking. Some let's move our bodies. Let's share some ideas because even thought is movement.
Yeah, definitely.
It is. It is. We need more time to talk about this. We need like lots and lots of connections
We're
like this
moving.
between us three. Because yes, movement, and because there's so many people that need to hear from you. And as we close today, I just want to say thank you, for being here and to share of your gifts, to share of your knowledge, and the words. I heard everything from there, not that there is hope. People can recover and get better. Don't give up. I heard, don't stay silent. Everybody's loved. Make sure that you reach out when we're feeling down, and there's so many ways. When you're feeling that, there's so many ways to access, to find that love and compassion for yourself, and know that you deserve better, that you're going to find the foods that are going to help you, the things that are going to help you keep going. And I learned a new word, expo zone, so thank you. Being knowledgeable, we're getting some knowledge here today. So thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for sharing your practices, so that someone that's listening here could stop and say, okay, if they're having a conversation on a charla about this, then I'm going to feel better or stronger, or be able to advocate for my needs and for what I need, and to be okay. Because I want these conversations to feel like it's okay that you're talking about at the kitchen table, or when you're talking to me, ¿cómo estás tú? Sí, pues yo estoy mala de esto, pero fui al doctor and I got this therapist. Like, talk about that the way we talk about taking Tylenol when you have a headache, or going to the doctor when you have a fever. It's like, no, I wasn't feeling well, and I went to a life coach, or I went to a therapist, or I went to Tai Chi because it's helping me with this. I went to Alba because it's helping me with that. But having that as part of our everyday conversation, so that we can continue normalizing it, that we're not always okay, and that's okay. So we got some comentarios. A ver, Liliana, we got gracias, awesome information by Dr. Rosario Martinez. Julie Vasquez, thank you so much for connecting me to Cello.
Hi, Julie.
Is there somewhere your show can post resources to access later, including a link to Cello's book, where Alba's business is, and where to take wellness classes in your neighborhood, mental health, etc.? So yes, that's my goal, is to connect, create, collect, and then connect. So that's my goal. So anything that you guys can send me, guests here today, please share it my way on our WhatsApp or through the email that I sent out, and that way I can turn it around and make sure that our listeners have access to it. So thank you so much. And I want people to know, how can they find you? How can they follow you? So Angel, Alba, Cello, tell people how they can find and connect with you.
Artconsana.com, or follow me on Instagram, Art Kung Fu.
Oh, you're pointing to your name. It was on this side.
Oh,
There you go. Right there.
Oh God! Wow.
The other side.
Yeah, there you go. And then go to your sessions on Thursdays.
yeah.
Yeah. And then take it with you. Take it to go package.
So I honestly just recently started doing social media. I'm bad at that. LinkedIn is probably the best, but I also Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they want to buy your book?
Yes, whymysister.com. Easy.
Okay.
whymysister.com.
whymysister.com. Ahí está. And then, Alba, close it out.
Yes, and my social media is Nova Studio Med Spa, and I also have a personal Albarin where I try to incorporate more of the community events and a lot of the information I spoke about today.
All right. Well, thank you. Now, before you go, I just want to share two events because we talked about community. We talked about, we shouldn't be being on our own and being in isolation. So I want to share two events, and I want to also make sure that you take these events too, Cello and Alba and Angel. But we have an activity that's coming up, a networking event, humans coming together, united by the game, because we got some FIFA fever here in Houston. Because of that, the NHPO is inviting all. Where NHPO is one of the organizations that's supporting this and putting it out there. It's a mega networking experience that's powered by Martin Curryman, and it's going to be at the ballroom at Bayou Place, which is downtown near the Jones Hall, right next to the Wortham. This is an event where you can get some tickets. They do have different prices, but there are some free ones. And you can go to this event, share, connect, be with other humans, because right now more than ever we need each other. So coming together just to network, talk about who you are, what your business is, and share what you're doing. Share what you're doing for the community. Share your books, share your Tai Chi, share your upcoming events, and that way we can continue connecting with each other. And then I have one more event. So this is coming up tomorrow, the Awaken Woman Network, a collective series where I, yours truly, has been the moderator. And these charlas, or these series of community events, is where we come together to uplift women. They share their stories. This one is all about an empowering conversation with women authors, leaders, and advocates who are creating the space for healing, representation, and impact. So this is tomorrow at the ballroom, the other ballroom on Tanglewood, that's off of Westheimer. So there's two back-to-back events. This one is tomorrow, and we have some amazing women that are going to be there speaking on somatic breath work, Reiki. We have the Reverend Dr. Stephanie Wilkins talking about discovering your joy after grief. We have licensed therapist Xochitl Rodriguez. And we also have the director of Arte Público Press, who's Dr. Go ahead and scroll down a little bit, Dr. Gabriela Baez Aventura. So they're going to be on the panel speaking. So this is a free event, and we would love for all three of you to come on out. Again, connect, share. Let's continue spreading the good vibes and being there for each other. So I would love to have you on there tomorrow as well. So, but thank you for being here
Absolutely. Thank
today.
you.
Thank you so much for doing this. It was
Yes.
amazing meeting all of you. And
Yes, thank you.
definitely will be going to the Tai Chi and the facials.
Yes, we're gonna go over there. We're gonna go over here. And we're going to stay connected because right now we need each other. So gracias por estar aquí conmigo. And on this series of the Claudia Macias Show and Podcast, we're doing some rebrandings. I better get used to that on the Admirable Radio Station. So join today. Today was live. If you missed it, don't worry, because this show repeats itself next Tuesday. And you can also come back and listen to it and watch it on our YouTube channel, on our LinkedIn, on our Twitch, on our Instagram, on our Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as, okay, I think I got them all covered. So we're everywhere. And if you would like to come on, and if you would like to be a part of my panel, a part of the guests, please let me know what amazing work you're doing out there for the community, so we can make sure that we highlight it, we elevate, and people can connect with you and the work that you're doing and the sources that you have. So, hasta la otra. Adios. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.